Hello Internet, hello and welcome to the Dota 2 patch overview video for the 16th of September 2013. Today's patch will cover a few new league passes and a lot of cosmetics. However, instead of talking about the cosmetics, I really want to address something else, and that is the difference between creating content and creating cosmetics and the relevance to, well, patches in general and especially specifically for Dota, because I feel a lot of people don't seem to properly understand what is going on over at Valve and why we've got so many updates for cosmetics and so few content updates, and well, I just want to quickly address that. First up is the 2013 National Electronic Sports Tournament. Now, sadly enough, I cannot tell you anything about this tournament. All I know is that it's a Chinese tournament. I'm sorry, I couldn't find any info. So, yeah, sorry. Next up is the Nexon Sponsorship League. In this league, players will be competing for a Nexon sponsorship, which is pretty awesome. The NSL will span 3 seasons and has a total prize pool of $267,000 US. However, that's just not cash, that's like sponsorship funding. I don't really get it myself. I sadly, yet again, cannot tell you anything about the prize pool of the VPC Ace Dota 2 League. However, they already announced a part of the teams that will be competing in this tournament, which is actually looking pretty good. So we got Tongfu, DK, IG, LGD, Rattlesnake, VC Gaming, Rising Stars, and then 2 amateur teams. However, these amateur teams, like, they got Wood, which I know that dude, like, that's probably not an amateur. But, yeah. So that's interesting. Sadly enough, no prize pool. I've been really looking around. This is kind of odd. And last but not least, we've got the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League Season 2. Now in this league we've got players competing for $25,000, and we also got very nice commentary by Beyond the Summit, for example, but commentary in apparently over 6 languages, which I suppose that's quite nice. If you buy this ticket, you will also get a Dim Forest Hut skin and the Woodchopper Courier, so previously known as the Justine Bieber. Quite glad that they renamed that, I've got to admit. I guess we're done here. But a quick side note before we move on. If you remember Defense of the Australians from last week, they are using a new image for their ticket. Simply because, well, the guy that created one of the images for the ticket, apparently they didn't have the permission to use this image. And he complained and he wanted that image to be removed from the ticket, so they just went ahead and just removed all of it and created a new one, just in case you are wondering, like, why does it look different? Is this a different tournament? No, it's the same tournament, they just changed the image. And this is where we move on to the cosmetics. Now, we also got a new chest, but we don't know the contents of that chest yet. And of course, we finally got the key for our nice, cute little pink chest, and we know the contents of that chest. And I'm about to show you the contents of the chest, so get excited! But as I mentioned previously, I'm not going to be talking about the contents of that chest at all. If you want to watch the video and see everything, that's fine, but I'm going to be commenting on something else. Now, please keep in mind what I'm about to say does apply to pretty much every game. This is not just Dota. This is game development in general, and you should keep this in mind. But while creating a game, there are, well, different categories of creating that game, right? I think we all know that. I think we all realize that. A programmer does not create the art assets to a game. A designer does not program the game, and an artist does not design the game. Like, all of these are different jobs, all of these are different issues. If I'm the story writer for a game, let's just take one of my favorite games. I don't know, let's just take Bastion, okay? Bastion is fantastic. If you have not played Bastion, to do yourself a favor and play Bastion, okay? Anyway, if I'm the writer for Bastion, I do not draw Bastion. I do not do the voices for Bastion. I'm not immediately the narrator, even though I write what the narrator creates. Now let's assume that the narrator is sick right now and he can't narrate, or if he does, it would sound just awful. Now what do? I could of course try to do it myself, but that would just be terrible. Why would I do that? No, I'm the writer. I wrote all of these lines for him. So currently I'm waiting for him to, I don't know, get ready so I can speak those lines. What am I gonna do in the meantime? What is it that I can do? I'm not gonna sit down and suddenly participate in the art. I'm not suddenly gonna do level design. No. What can I do? I write some more stories. I'm a story writer. Something that happens quite often in the games industry is, well, a game is finished, pretty much finished. And all that there is left to do is cleaning out bugs and fixing up the game and putting a little bit of polish there and making this a little bit prettier. And during those phases, the art team's got nothing to do. Because what can they do? They already created all of the assets for the game is pretty much done. All there's left to do is up to the programmers and not to the art team. That's something different altogether. So they're just sitting there and kind of waiting for the next job to roll in or to start on the next game or just do something in general. But there's nothing. So what do? They create additional cosmetic items, download content, microtransactions. Because they can do that. Because that doesn't take a lot of time. Because that's easy. They don't need a programmer for that. They can just sit down and do that. In the meantime, the programmers are working their ass off. And these guys, who would otherwise just be bored and not be doing anything, they are just creating some assets. I mean, why the hell not? It's better than not doing anything, right? Might as well earn a little bit of additional money for something that's entirely optional. Now, I'm gonna admit that this doesn't apply exactly to Dota, but it's still very similar, because in Dota, they've got an art team. They've got a team that is responsible for these models. They've got a team that is responsible for creating everything that's pretty about Dota, right? Somebody had to animate the trees. Somebody had to. That just didn't appear out of nothing. Somebody had to make those trees as pretty as they are. Somebody had to polish up Roshan. Somebody had to put the makeup on the shopkeeper. That's just the way of life. That's how it worked. But now that the shopkeeper is looking pretty and Roshan is, I don't know, making everybody else jealous, what is there to do for them? Nothing. So what are they doing? They're creating cosmetic items. The art team is not responsible for balance. The art team is not responsible for additional content. All the art team is responsible for is art. Cosmetic items. So if anybody out there actually believes that Valve is pushing back actual content in favor of cosmetic items, I'm sorry, but you're delusional and wrong. Because the art team does not know how to program. They just don't. So what can they do? They don't know how to balance. They just don't. There's nothing else for them to do. I might as well create some cosmetic items. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a rating on the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to daily Dota 2 content. And I think we're done here for today. So I hope you enjoyed the video and see you tomorrow. Bye.